And thank you to the participants for selecting Compliance Key for your training and professional development needs. As the operator said, I am a human resource management trainer and consultant specializing largely in U.S. compliance issues as well as leadership and management development. Today's topic is key qualities of effective leaders. We are going to spend some time talking about what leadership really is. We're going to talk a little bit about how leadership differs from management. We're going to talk about some key characteristics and traits that are truly essential for effective leadership. So if you are in a leadership role or are aspiring to advance to a leadership role, if you are not already in one, these are traits and characteristics that you'll want to work on focusing on developing in yourself through your own experiences on the job, as well as any professional development and or continuing education that you participate in. We will also talk about some traits that run counter to leadership, meaning that these are things that when they manifest in our personalities, they stand in the way of allowing people to view us as effective leaders. At the end of the session, you will have an opportunity to ask questions if you would like. So first of all, let's start talking about what leadership really is. Leadership, by definition, is inspiring people to be better than they would have been without you. Leadership is definitely not the same as management. It is associated with management. People who are in management positions need to be concerned with cultivating those traits within themselves that will encourage and inspire their employees to truly see them as leaders. But the nature of leadership has some unique characteristics. First of all, leadership is intangible. It's not visible or palpable, meaning that it's not something that you can directly see or touch. Leadership is also a process, and that means that it doesn't have a definite beginning or ending point. Something that is a process is ongoing. It's not like you can spend some time working on becoming a leader and then mark that off your to-do list and you're done with it. It's something that's ongoing. Leadership is also a property, not property in the sense of property that you would purchase or own, but a property specific to a person. It's, do you have those traits that allow the process of leadership? Are there things about you that inspire others to see you as a leader, which means that they see you as someone that they are willing to follow? Leadership is non-coercive. Like I said earlier, leadership is inspiring people to be better than they would have been without you. That's very different than a mindset of being able to coerce performance or force people to do what they're supposed to do at work because they're scared of the consequences if they don't. Leadership is more about that inspiration aspect rather than focusing on that true authority and power that goes along with the job. If your employees see you as a leader, they're going to follow you willingly, not just because they feel like they have to. And that really relates closely to the last item in the nature of leadership that I'd like to discuss, and that is the concept of informal interpersonal influence. Look at this in terms of compliance versus commitment. People follow someone that they only see as a boss out of compliance. I do what my boss says because I don't want negative consequences, as opposed to I do what my leader indicates that is necessary to do because I'm willing to follow this person because I see them as someone that I respect, that I admire, and I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do because I get why it matters. And that leader has helped me see that. So those are some very important key things to be mindful of when we talk about leadership. Leadership is always about informal influence rather than formal authority. And formal authority is at the top of the list of things that I'd like to mention that leadership is not. Leadership is absolutely not about formal authority. Now, when you are a manager, you have formal authority, and that's great, but your job is much easier if you don't have to resort to formal authority. If you can say to your employees, these are the things that we need to do to accomplish the mission of our organization, and have them willingly do that instead of saying, you have to do this or I will write you up. You have to do this or I will fire you. You know, you're forcing in that situation, and that's not true leadership. Leadership is also not about delegation. Now, of course, as a manager, it is important to delegate work to employees, but leaders have to understand that they can't delegate everything to other people, and what they really can't delegate is responsibility. If you have employees who are responsible for doing tasks, if things don't go well and the tasks fail, as a leader never says, well, it's not my fault, it's theirs. A leader says it is my responsibility to find a solution. A leader knows that he or she cannot delegate that responsibility. And a well-known quote related to that is from Winston Churchill, who did say, the price of greatness is responsibility. Leadership is also not about power. That goes along with the fact that leadership is not about formal authority. When you are in charge, there is power that is inherent to your position, but a true leader knows to rely on interpersonal influence more so than that formal power. Leadership is also not oppressive. Well known in the U.S. consumer advocate Ralph Nader said many years ago, I start with the premise that the function of leadership is to produce more leaders, not more followers. And that really illustrates the point that someone who is a leader isn't concerned with being ahead of everyone else or keeping other people down. Managers who have an attitude of believing that they are somehow disadvantaged if their employees look good in the organization are not effective leaders. A true leader wants to see the people on their team advance and grow and flourish. They look at that as a sign of strength, not a threat or a sign of weakness. And leaders also do not just agree with everything. They're not yes men or yes women. A leader is a person who will stand up for what they believe in and stand up for what is right, not just go along with what is popular because everyone else is going along with it. Leaders have to be ready to take a stand. And as former Prime Minister of Great Britain said, Tony Blair said, the art of leadership is saying no, not yes. It is very easy to say yes. And leaders are going to focus on doing what's right. So for any individual to be viewed as an effective leader, it's essential for that person to truly have the set of qualities, which is the property aspect, those qualities you have that causes people to choose to follow you. And that is the process. So you have to ask yourself, do you have those qualities? And that's a key area that we're going to focus on today, is what those qualities are so you can work on developing them within yourself. Do you have the set of qualities that will cause people to choose to follow you? Are you capable of inspiring people to accomplish much more than they thought possible? Because that's what leaders do. Remember the definition, inspiring people to be better than they would have been without you. In the face of an impossible task, are you grumbling along with everybody else? I don't know how we're going to make this happen. Or do you have a positive attitude? Do you focus on how you can make progress and what you can do and what you can accomplish? Because that's how you go about inspiring.